Hey, Felipe, thanks for joining us. We were having a chat about compliance and comfort around safety, etc. How does that relate to glasses, you think?
In my opinion, I started the industry in 2018 when I first experienced safety glasses that company were providing. One of the big factors was pressure points, sweating coming down the lens. When you're working in a very hot environment and you're in the run, your pressure, you're, hey, go do this, go do that, and your glasses are just in the way, you're sweating. It kind of brings this frustration where you just want to wipe it down, but then you got your gloves and long story short, you end up taking them off and then just tossing them out because they're just not suitable. And it brings frustration. You end up doing something you're not supposed to. You're doing the wrong task, and it can create some sort of unforeseen accident. So it definitely ties in.
So it sounds like guys are just taking off their glasses, put them in their pocket, toss them aside. Maybe wearing them when like safety's around, right? But ultimately, they're not wearing them when they're performing the task. So what are the guys doing instead for eye protection?
Yeah, so of course, it's not that we don't want to be safe, is that when we're working, you want comfort and you want to make sure that you have the right equipment. So for the most part, when they're just cutting you up in the back of the ear, again, the pressure points, your work ethic just lowers, your morale lowers, and you start doing things you're not supposed to. You forget tasking, the frustration kicks in, take them off, throw them down. Now, yes, we're not supposed to do that, but that's just the reality. So what we do is we'll put on whatever we have from home, which is not company provided, or it may not be the proper PPE. There's a lot of factors that come in when you wear a specific pair of glasses. We have ANSI and OSHA requesting 3 stamps on your glasses. Sometimes we don't really care. We just want to get the job done, put on what we have available.
And how does that help? So now you're throwing on your glasses that you're comfortable with, but how does that now help you moving forward with the job and with the work?
In my experience, it was a relief. It was like, get these things off of me and then just put my glasses on. And then it's like a relief. It's like a breather, and you kind of reset. And it brings back that comfort and say, okay, what was I doing again? You know what I mean? So it definitely helps.
Felipe, everything that you just said is something I've experienced too. Like the glasses pinching in, it's fogging up, it's riding up on my face, the frustration. And I did the same thing. I would put just regular, comfortable sunglasses on. So what's the difference between sunglasses and safety glasses? Like, what do I need to be protected?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that you need, but one of the things that our eyes are very attracted to is that UV lighting. And for the most part, when companies buy glasses, they tend to get just a pair of glasses to say safety. OSHA and ANSI keep changing their testing procedures every so often. So the last time they did it was in 2020, then 2015. So what we started adding is that UV protection because your eye does get strained. And before you get fatigued, your eyes detect the fatigueness before your brain actually receives it. So the UV protection really, really helps a lot, which is a very common lens used now in today's days. Also having that polarized lens, it reflects that UV back. So it's kind of like a mirror, if that makes sense.
Okay, so that actually helps the fatigue factor of me is that sun coming through and
Yes.
having UV protection helps
Yeah.
to reduce that fatigue.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it, right? You're leaning on the pole and you're facing up. You're looking up, and that sun's right in your face. And for the most part, we forget to blink. We're like this, and then all that UV's coming in, and it gets your eyes pretty tired, and it kind of creates a headache at the same time. It's not very common, but it's a niche that they forgot to add, or they companies don't really ask the question.
It sounds like a pretty big safety oversight.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I started this. I mean, it's not just, hey, here's a C87 plus glasses. It's here's something that's going to keep you comfort, going to give you comfort, and it's going to keep you safe and sound. You know what I mean? It's not going to be wobbling. It's not going to have pinching points. There's a lot of factors that come in when designing a pair of glasses. And as ANSI standards change the safety procedures for testing, then so do we have to work around it and come up with different designs to continue that maintenance and compliance.
What do you think the guys in the field are missing? Because this is the first I've ever heard of it. Do you think that they?
So one of the things that I've realized is we work day and night, right? So we have to go from a dark pair of glasses to a clear pair of glasses, and you worked the field. How many times did you actually grab a clear pair of glasses at night? Like it was very rare that we did that. So one of the things that I did is I did interchangeable lenses. Transitional lenses are a big thing now. So I have to keep up with not just standards, but the newer generation too, because culture does have a say in what's going on. Like we were talking earlier, you don't want to wear your grandpa's shirt, right? So as technology advances, system advances, but so does culture. And we have to maintain that status and work around them and create something for them.
I got to come clean. I have had an eye injury. It was working in a manhole, wearing my clear safety glasses. It was humid. It was hot. It started to fog up, and I couldn't see. And I was terminating a splice, and I took them off. And as I was pulling back the Semicon, it broke, and I jammed my thumb right into my eye and scratched my eye.
Yeah, so those are a lot of things that you take into accountability when you're engineering a set of glasses. So one of the things that we like to do is, so anti-fog, it's something that wears off on the lens. So we have this little anti-fog bottle that you spray, and you can clean your lens, and then you can just keep that anti-fog for another week or so. So that's the reason why we're here. And I started this because I've seen it happen time and again. And sometimes we get so comfortable. Maybe how long were you in the industry before this happened?
6 years, maybe.
So in 6 years, you've never experienced an impact to the face. And you feel comfortable and said, you know what? I haven't had that happen in 6 years. And then boom, it happens. So that's, we got to work on different materials and engineer glasses that can prevent from people taking them off and in fact say, ooh, I want to wear them. Because it is very critical. I mean, we have 2,000 injuries per day. And the reports say that 80 to 90%, they're not wearing proper PPE. So it's very critical to, no matter how uncomfortable it is at the moment, you have to have your glasses on. It's just as important as your gloves, your hard hat.
2,000 eye injuries a day.
A day that require medical attention, yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's easy. We get too comfortable doing our work that it's like, oh, I haven't cut my hand ever in 10 years. Let me take my gloves off. And that's when it happens. So comfort does matter.
So 2,000 injuries a day.
Yes.
That's unbelievable. I can't even imagine that. So how do we make the change? How do we impact that? Where does the culture start to get influenced by us in the field?
Well, there's two ways, in my opinion. Number one, employees have to speak up. And number two, foremen, supervisors, they have to understand that if a guy comes up to you and says, man, I don't like these things, they're horrible.
Yeah.
You have to do something to make sure that they're going to wear the product or their PPE. So get their feedback, go out and find the perfect fit for their needs. We have multiple stories where a guy went art flashed right into his face. He went face to face. His face is completely burnt, but his eye line from the glasses was still there. So this guy went back to work next month. His vision was still there, and company realized this is what they need. So I say, why wait for something like that to happen? We have to make sure we listen to the guys that are working out in the field and saying, hey, this is what we need. It's stressful not having it. So,
wow. Like you think about it, you could get an injury, you can burn yourself in some part of your body, but you go blind. That's it.
That's it. Yes, you can't work anymore. So it's critical to listen to the guys that are on the field and understand their needs, especially in cultures or in areas like in Florida, right? It gets super foggy out there. It gets super humid. You got to listen to the guys and give them that PPE that can solve that problem.
If you're just saying it to a supervisor, is that enough? Or is there usually a director of health and safety where the conversation has to be broader, or there has to be more awareness, or someone has to be responsible? Like where does the buck stop really?
Well, it depends on where you're at in the field. So if you're just, bottom of the barrel, you have to tell your superior, chain of command.
Yeah.
But it's just something that you have to consistently push on. Like, hey, we need this. We need this. I mean, look at all the tools that we're buying nowadays, right? It's giving better job performance, less stress, easier to work with. So it's just one of those things that we have to listen and give to our guys what they need.
Do you think there's a better way that we could articulate that to our leaders in the front office, that they listen to?
I mean, I would say don't wait for something to happen. You know, we've had multiple accidents. I have tons of emails of guys saying, man, I'm so glad I was wearing your glasses. It impacted my life a lot. And whether it's my brand or somebody else's brand, the problem is you got to listen to these guys and give them that safety pair of glasses that has that culture, comfort, and, you know, all in one package. So according to the BLS, 90% of his injuries could have been prevented. So the question is, what's going on? Why are these guys are not wearing their safety glasses? You know, so we have to do something to raise that awareness and say it's preventable. You guys have to start listening to these guys. It's a huge conversation that gets overseen all the time.
You know, reflecting back to when I started in the industry, speaking up was taboo. Like, you just did what you were told, you dealt with it. And I feel that the industry is changing, right?
Yeah.
And now there's ears that are willing to listen a little bit. So it really falls back on the accountability piece. Like, I need to speak up,
Right.
and share that it's not comfortable, that it's not wearing that. And I mean, from that personal experience and your statistic that you just said, those are reported ones, and I can only imagine how many are happening that are unreported. So I feel like it's even more important to listen to your message here.
Yeah, and then, you know, back in the day when you used to complain about something, they'll tell you to suck it up and go for it. You know what I mean? Like, stay quiet, do your work. And nowadays, I think a lot of injuries have happened, and companies are starting to realize we need to do something to change that. And it's up until something happens that they realize, okay, stop, and let's think about what we're going to do to solve this problem. So nowadays, thankfully, foremen, safety managers are starting to realize that it does impact our lives. You know, we want to go home the same way we came to work. So they're listening, and I think doing this right here raises more awareness, and hopefully we can prevent some of those injuries.